Hey guys, I'm here. It's nighttime. Just kind of messing around out in my garage tonight, and I picked up a couple new knives over the last month or so, and they're both the same knife. They might have been made in different years, but they're Mora knives. They're the Mora I believe they're called the Norse Kings, and this is the first one. It is basically a classic #2. Comes with a plastic sheath, leather handle, and these are all vintage. I don't even know if they make these anymore. This one is one that I've already fixed up. Already cleaned up all the steel on it and cleaned all this up, and I cleaned the handle up a little bit, but I didn't mess with it a lot. Tried to keep it as close to original as I could, and it's shaving sharp. I mean, it'll take hair right off your arm, and like I said, it's basically the same as the classic #2, except it's got this steel butt cap on it, and the tang obviously goes all the way through the handle, which is pretty cool. And from what I've read, these are a laminated knife. This one was made by, and I'm not even going to say the name. I'm just going to go, hopefully it'll focus. But it's made by that Brederna Johansson or Johnson or something like that, and Mora, Sweden. But anyways, I wanted to show this off. It's slick. I mean, it's you know, it's just a vintage. It's just a good old vintage knife. The plastic case is perfect on this. I mean, just absolutely perfect. I'm pretty happy with it. This is definitely going to be a user. I mean, I don't buy knives and not use them. But, you know, it's not like I'm going to take it out and beat it either. So, wanted to show that off. And then, the next one we got is this one here. And this one is going to be a project knife. Obviously, the case is pretty much junk on this. I'm going to keep my eye out and see if we can't find another vintage case for this. This one's brown, and this one was red. I don't know if it's because maybe they were made at different years. Everything else looks about the same. The only thing is looks a little different on this is this looks like it might be just a little bit bigger of a copper. I don't know what you would even call it, but it's got a copper thing on there that they peen over. And it looks like it might be a little bigger on this one, and it's got a little bit of a flat where they've peen that in, and I don't know that somebody didn't just tap that down on there a little tighter just to tighten the handle up or something, but or maybe in the factory they tightened this one up a little bit more than that one. I'm not sure, but this is going to be the project one. We're going to have to try to find a sheath for it, which I may not even get that on video because it might take a while to find the right sheath unless somebody out there's got one that they're not using. And then here's the knife itself. It's already in pretty decent shape. It's got some rust around here, and this part here is pretty decent. Just needs a good clean up. On this one, we're going to sand the handle down, and we're just going to go ahead and put a coat of linseed oil on it. These handles come with some kind of coating on them. I'm not sure if they're a lacquer or what they are, but this one here is going to turn into more of a user than this one, because this one's like almost perfect, so I thought I'd leave it perfect, you know, leave it kind of original. And then this one here, it actually has a little chip at the tip of it, which you guys might be able to see or not see, I don't know. But it's definitely fixable. In fact, I'll probably fix it right here on this little grinder real quick. It'll take less than a half a second, you know, less than a half a minute, I should say. And then it just needs a good cleaning up with a little bit of emery cloth, and same with the rust on here and stuff. And you know, and then sand this down and just clean the whole thing up. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and I just wanted to show this to you guys before, and then I'll go ahead and clean it up and you know, fix it and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Maybe I'll take some pictures in between or something, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, basically all I'm going to use is some light steel wool and a little bit of like really fine emery cloth to clean this up. I'm not trying to really remove any metal. I'm just trying to kind of shine up the steel back up and get rid of the rust. And then I'll use some regular sandpaper on this and give it a good sanding. This has got a little bit of just a little scuff on it right in here too. There's probably nothing I can do about that. This looks like it was chromed. It might be stainless steel actually, and it probably is stainless steel, or it would have a little bit of rust where it was dinged up like that. So, and it doesn't. Actually, it looks like it might have been grabbed with something. I don't know. But anyways, like I said, this is going to end up being the user, and the other one's going to be a user too. I'm just basically going to keep this one original, and since we don't really, we're probably not going to find the original sheath for this thing, I'll probably go ahead and just clean this thing up and just kind of make it my own, which won't be much of anything. I mean, these things already fit kind of nice. The handles on these are just a little short for my hand, because it doesn't really, I like my handles to stick out a little bit, but this doesn't. But that's not really a big deal. You get used to what you're using. But these things really do hold an edge. That other one, I sharpened it up. I mean, it was already pretty nice when I got it, and I just took the emery cloth a couple times with a wooden block and just stroked it a few times, and then put the leather to it, and it was shaving sharp. So that's pretty cool. And this one's not too far off either. So let me go ahead and get some emery cloth out, and we'll just clean this thing up. I'll be right back. Okay, so really all I have is a piece of emery cloth, and I got it wrapped in a wooden block. And I'm just taking my finger and putting it on it where I'm putting the pressure, and I'm just rubbing it on here, just like so, and putting a fair amount of pressure on it. And I'm going kind of the way that the grain and the steel's going, and you can see already, I don't know if you guys can tell, but you can see already it's really putting a nice shine on it. And that's all I'm looking for, is to just kind of clean it up, take the rust off of it, and just do what you got to do. And I'm really only working on this part here right now, and I'll work on this edge, and then I'll work on this side, and then I'll work on this side. And then when I go to sharpen it, I'll sharpen it, or the sharpening edge I should say, I'll do it just like I was going to sharpen it. I just work right down it like this, and I'll probably put just a little bit of extra time in that tip just to get rid of that chip. But let me go ahead and polish this up first, and we'll see what it looks like. And I'm not looking to get it like perfectly perfect either, because this is a vintage knife. It's got some age. It's used. We're just trying to make it nice again, not so that it looks so old that, try not to run off the end of that. Okay, so basically it doesn't look too bad just from that. I'm pretty happy with that actually, because like I said, this is going to be a user, so it's going to get some marks and stuff on it. And now we got a little bit of rust on this here too. We could take this thing and put it at its edge like this and sort of work the top of that out, take all that rust off. We could also use a little emery cloth in there by hand. We're just trying to take it out, get it kind of shined up, and we can take the side of this like this and kind of hit this too, and get all that all cleaned up too, as best as we can. Sometimes you gotta readjust the cloth on here so that it's hitting it just right. But yeah. We gotta be careful not to hit the edge of the blade itself too. You're not wanting to take the edge off the blade, you're just wanting to clean up the rust. Okay, let me go ahead and work on this for a little bit and I'll get back with you. Okay guys, I'm back. So I got all the rust pretty much cleaned off of it. All the rust's off this now. There wasn't really any rust on there. The only thing I got left is, and I did work out a little bit of I worked the chip, oops, out of the camera. I worked the chip out of the tip of that too. So now all I'm doing is, I'm just taking my piece of cloth here and just kind of going along this thing and just stropping it with my emery cloth and a wooden block to keep it nice and stiff. And I'm not pushing real hard because it really isn't that far off from being sharp. So I'm just going to do that for a little bit, and once I get this blade to where it's somewhat close, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I got this blade pretty close. I mean, it's razor sharp right now. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but it definitely shaves. It definitely shaves hair. So, you know, it's like right there. Haven't stropped it yet. I'll strop that. I'll do that when I'm all done with the rest of it. I'll probably hit it a couple times with the emery cloth and then strop it real quick, and then the blade will be done as far as that goes. But now I'm going to get my tape out, masking tape, and I'm going to tape this up a little bit here, tape this end up a little bit here so I don't scratch it up, and I'm going to sand this wood part. And I noticed that this is a little loose here, and this has already been peened pretty good. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sand this so that all the finish is off of it. And I'm thinking about just putting the handle and just soaking it for up to a couple of hours or so in linseed oil, and see if I can't swell that handle just a little bit to tighten this up a little bit on it. We'll see if it works. I know it works on axes quite a bit, and this thing's pretty old, so it's probably the wood's probably pretty dry, so it probably needs a good oil anyways. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to tape this off and sand this. Okay, so I'm just taping it off. You know, this end's taped off. I kind of taped the blade up a little bit just to, you know, for safety. Not that it still wouldn't cut you if you weren't careful. And then it's just, and all I'm using is just painter's tape. And I would do the same thing on this end. Just put it on there and try to get it, you know, right up there to the edge of your wood. Sometimes it's a little tricky. You got to kind of play with it a little bit, but you'll get it. Even if you have to put more than one piece of tape on there, you can get it. I don't know. Put it around there real good. This not being perfectly the same all the way around makes it a little tougher, but like I said, you just work it a little bit until you get it. And if you gotta add a little piece here and there, you just add a little piece. No big deal. I'm not gonna go real crazy with the sandpaper anyway, so it's not really a big deal. But, yeah. Oops. And that right there is, well, actually, let's add one more little piece on here. It's going to take longer to tape it up than it will to sand it, to be honest with you. That's okay. So anyways, so you sand it up there like that, or tape it up like that, and basically you're all set. So then you just take, let me see if I can find a piece of normal piece of sandpaper, which I keep a box of it. This is a piece I used, but it'll work just fine probably for this. And you just sand it, and you sand it until you are happy with it. Let me go ahead and work on that. Let me get a little better piece of sandpaper too, because this is kind of sucky. And I'll get back with you. Okay, so I got a little better piece of sandpaper here. Not a really big heavy grit, just enough to take off that finish that's on there. And sort of clean it up. And, you know, you just sand it till you get all the finish off, and maybe any marks that you don't want in it. And I'll sand it with this, and then I'll probably go to maybe a little lower grit and sand it again, just till I get to where I want it. Everybody's preference is a little different. Some people like smooth handles, some people like their handles a little on the rough side. It just all depends on what you like. Being that this is probably going to get used more for carving for me, I'll probably keep the handle a little on the smooth side because I prefer them that way. If I was going to use this for hunting, I'd probably keep it a little on the rougher side, because you get the blood and stuff on the handles, they start getting a little slippery on you. But I don't know. It'll be a little bit grippy anyways, because I'm taking this finish off, and it's just going to be a linseed oil handle finish, which kind of works good for handles, because you don't get that slippery when wet feel with them. So let me go ahead and sand on this for a little bit, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here it is. It's all sanded up. Good enough for me. Like I said, this is a user knife. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go wash my hands, because I don't want to put any, I still got a little bit of grime on them from sharpening. So I don't want to put any black marks on there before I put the finish on it, which is just linseed oil. But I got to take all the tape off, because I want to soak it in the linseed oil. So I'm going to go wash my hands, get all the gunk off there, and then I'll go ahead and take the tape off and soak this thing in the oil. Okay, so I decided that I got a whole can of linseed oil, and rather than dump it out into a bowl, I'm going to leave the tape on the blade end. Take a pair of I got a piece of leather wrapped around it. I'm going to take a pair of vice grips, clamp it onto here. On the leather, not very tight. If it feels like it's too tight, you just open the vice grips up a little bit. I just want to put them on there hard enough so that I can stick the end of the can, and then have these vice grips basically just hold the knife from falling into the can itself. You know, a little tighter than that. That's the whole goal. Yeah, right there, that's perfect. So that way it's like that. Now I can take it and dip this thing into my linseed oil can, just leave it hang, because it's never going to fall past there. But I'll take the tape off this end. So let me go ahead and take the tape off this end and get my linseed oil can out, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, so this is my can of linseed oil, and I thought I had a good idea, but it's not going to work anyways because it won't fit through the hole. So what I'm going to do is find a little jar and put a little bit of this oil in it, and then dip the knife in that. So let me go find a jar. Okay, so I found a little cup. It's one of my kids' cups from when we go out to eat or whatever. And we're just going to go ahead and dip that thing in the cup. I got a little bit on my fingers too. We're just going to let this thing soak. I'm just going to take it in the cup, put it in there like that, and then set this down somewhere where it's not going to fall over on me and make a mess. I have to situate it just a little bit. I need to add a little bit more to the top of this thing. Just so it's all soaked in there. And when I'm done, I'll just pour, the cup's clean, so I'll just pour the excess linseed oil back into the can. But since I got a little linseed oil on the top of that can, I got this other knife out that I also cleaned up. There's a little bit left on the top. I'm just going to take a little bit of linseed oil and just put it on the steel parts. This stuff makes a really good protectant for rust, and you know, it's not bad for it either. So we'll just kind of coat this other one, the steel parts. I mean, you can put it on the handle too, it wouldn't hurt a thing. In fact, maybe we will. We'll just coat the whole thing real lightly with it. And like I said, it doesn't hurt a thing. And it helps us from wasting that little bit of oil that was on here. And, you know, if it gets down in between the blade in here, that's even better, you know. And, there you go. And then we'll just take a rag and wipe off the excess. It's better than wasting it. So let me go ahead and I will let that handle soak for, you know, a little while, and we will pull that other one out of there, and I'll show you what it looks like. But you know, and then this project will be done. So let me go ahead and let that soak for a little bit, get this stuff off my hands, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so yeah, it's been soaking for a little while. Probably not long enough yet, but I thought I would take it out, wipe it off, show you guys what it looked like, and check it and see if it has swelled a little bit, and then probably soak it again some more. But I wanted to kind of get this video done, so we're just going to take it out of the bucket, leave all this excess kind of drip off a little bit. And then we'll take a rag and wipe it off. I will say this about linseed oil, and it's just something that I've heard. I might have read it somewhere, but from what I've heard, when you get linseed oil on a rag, I don't know if it is just cotton rags or just rags in general, that you should not leave it in your garage, because supposedly it can spontaneously combust. So just something to think about. You know, you get a little on a rag like this. That's why I use old socks. Just toss the rag, you know, get it out of your garage, out of your house. That way you don't catch your house on fire over something stupid like this. So anyways, so I have not located a sheath yet, and I will eventually, or maybe I'll make one, I don't know. But I figured I would show this to you guys, and this is it. It's all done. Everything's all cleaned up. Everything's sharpened. I need to strop it yet, but that's not really a big deal. Everybody knows how to strop a knife. It's already razor sharp anyways. It won't take much stropping. But let me see. Yeah, it's a little tighter, but yeah, it still needs to soak a little bit. So yeah, so I need to soak this a little bit more, but for the sake of the video, there it is, all done. Vintage old Norse King knife, all fixed up, ready to go, and still looking for a better sheath for it. So you know, hey, anybody out there has a sheath and they don't want it anymore, message me. I'll give you my address. You can send it to me. Nah, just kidding around. But you know, I'm not trying to turn this into a begging for a sheath knife video, but knife sheath video. But anyways, thought I'd show it to you guys. All done. Kind of cool. It's gonna make a pretty nice carver. It's got a nice feel to the handle, other than being just a tad short for me. But you know, anyways, thanks for watching. If you like the video, like, subscribe, share. Got a lot of videos coming up, all kinds. I've been kind of flip-flopping from tools to projects to this and that, and still working a lot of hours, so it's going to take a little time to get everything slowed down at work so that I can actually spend lots of time making videos again. So I thought I'd do this nice short little video today, and you know, if you like it, like I said, share, subscribe, like the videos, visit my website or my Etsy shop, because I have a lot of carving tools that I've made myself on those, and some hunting tools and stuff like that too. But anyways, I just want to say thank you. See you at the next video.